Well, the budget proposes to spend $3 billion to ensure the provinces and territories provide a high standard of care in long-term care facilities ravaged by the pandemic. There's also increases in old age security payments and funding to look at ways to help seniors stay in their homes longer. Does the budget meet the expectations of seniors advocates? Well, let's find out. Laura Tamblyn Watts is the CEO of CanAge. She is with me now. Laura Tamblyn Watts, good to see you again. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Let's start there. Does this budget meet your expectations?
It was better than we thought it was going to be. There was a lot of chatter, of course, about making it really focused on younger people. But of course, we know that those who have been ravaged really hardest have been seniors. So the investment in long-term care is critical. We need to see whether or not that money will be tethered. It's still unclear. So they said they're going to work with provinces and territories to have that funded, but it is still somewhat unclear. The aging at home is a good piece. We see some investment around creative ways to support it, but it again is a little bit shy of really specifically supporting home care.
Okay, let me walk through some of those in more detail. When the finance minister says she wants to spend $3 billion over 5 years to ensure higher standards in the long-term care facilities, what do you believe that involves? Again, a whole lot of the projects or programs in this budget involve, bringing the provinces on side. So what do you think is involved in trying to get, standards across the country for long-term care homes, given what we've seen in the pandemic?
I think they'll work very carefully through the standards organizations, so the Canadian Standards Organization and our health standards organizations as well. So I think they'll come at it from a regulatory point of view. Those have been announced already, and we're happy to say that CanAge is part of that conversation. Of course, it was very specific to say that they won't be trouncing on any provincial jurisdiction. So by going in through the technical standards, they walk around having to get the provincial approval. So it's a clever way in.
Right. It might be a way to get around. Do you think we can get to this improvement in standards for long-term care homes without some kind of federal interprovincial fighting?
I think we've already seen Alberta and Quebec and now Ontario say that they are going to be pushing back against standards. And so I think going in through the accreditation process really makes the accreditation connected to the homes themselves. I suspect that we'll see some political posturing, however, and that seniors may be a bit of a political football in this going forward.
The budget itself is silent on whether improved standards in long-term care homes means not-for-profit long-term care might be able to continue to coexist with for-profit models. Can it?
We've seen, of course, the NDP be very clear that they want to be moving forward exclusively to a not-for-profit. And of course, the Liberals, I think, are looking at it pragmatically. They don't really have the power to do that very easily. It's not under the Canada Health Act, and unless they open that up or create new federal legislation, it won't have any political reason to do it. The Conservatives have said very specifically they would oppose that. So I think that this is going to be an issue where we're going to see not-for-profit and for-profit homes work side by side for this foreseeable future. There's simply not enough money in this budget to create the long-term care homes that we need. And again, it's a little unclear if that money is going to be tethered to standards, right, whether they be nonprofit or for-profit, or whether they will give it to the governments provincially under some other kind of agreement.
How significant is the one $500 lump sum old age security payment to seniors over 75 that comes this summer? And then that's coupled with a promise that there would be a regular annual increase of regular increases of 10% in the OAS for people over the age of 75. How big of a move forward is that?
It's helpful, but it's not substantive in the sense that it's going to really alleviate poverty for people over the age of 75. But it is helpful and a long-standing promise from this government. So it's not a new promise. It's simply the fulfillment of one that has not been made forward for the past several years. We have seen, of course, this government fail seniors in terms of supporting them during the pandemic. There was a one-time payment of $600, a little bit more for people who are in greater need for GIS. But unlike other groups who've been getting monthly payments, seniors are one and done. And we know that their additional costs are really significant. So the additional OAS is helpful, and I think it will help to lift people up as we progress forward. But again, costs are rising, and seniors really do need the help.
Let's finish on this. There's also $90 million over 3 years to launch the Age Well at Home initiative to see about keeping seniors in their homes longer. How significant is that?
I think it's a great step forward. We've seen previously this government give money to the provinces unrestricted for home care, and they dissipated into provincial treasuries, and we never really saw any great increase in home care. So this is another kick in the can. $90 million is not going to be enough to really help the 92% of seniors who are in the community stay at home. But again, it's a start in the right direction.
All right, Laura Tamblyn Watts, always good to talk to you. Thanks again for your time tonight. Take care.
Thank you, Peter.